that is the unequal system of justice that we live in today. If you have a R next to your name, or if you're a conservative, you are held to a different standard than you are as a Democrat.
Yes, and I think that in some ways, when we point out these double standards, there's a little bit of naivete on our part, isn't there? Because we're assuming that the Justice Department is or should be impartial. We're assuming that those guys care about equal justice under the law. I think one of the problems is that police states are so perverse that they develop a different logic, which is consistent in its own perverse way. The police state basically says, which is the party that is helping to build the police state? Ah, that's the left, that's the Democrats. So they're going to protect our crimes, so we should protect their crimes. And that's what's going on. And then the police state says, well, who are the people who are trying to block the police state? Who are the people who, if they had the power, would start dismantling the police state? Oh, well, that's the MAGA Republicans. That's Donald Trump. Okay, so just like the family dog, which is friendly toward family members but barks at strangers, the police state is friendly to the people it sees as building up the police state and hostile to people like you and me and your dad, who are seen as sort of threats to the police state.
So talk about, maybe the dichotomy. Obviously, when we talk about the police state, we're not talking about police and law enforcement per se, because, I mean, certainly on a local level, I can't think of a group that's more sort of, America first MAGA than local police. I see that where I live. I see that where we travel. I see that when I go to my father's rallies, and these guys, literally come in unpaid to be able to work in the motorcade to help out. The thanks and the love is very different. Where is that line drawn about the police state versus sort of law enforcement? Because the left, they're very against law enforcement. They're very against police officers, whether that's state troopers or local sheriff's departments or whatever it may be. But policing from the highest branches of government, still, that they want as much as they could possibly have of.
Right. A police state becomes when the institutions of law, the police agencies of the government, stop caring about the law in the traditional sense. They are now more concerned with going after political opponents. They're more concerned with shutting down dissidents. They're more concerned with weaponizing the apparatus of government in order to move toward a one-party state. Let's think about this. All police states are one-party states. This does not mean they don't have elections. Iran has elections. China has elections. But the opposition is always controlled. No effective opposition is allowed to emerge. One of the questions I wrestle with in the film, and I think there's an original treatment of this, is it explores the question of how an agency like the FBI or the DHS can get decent people to do indecent things. In other words, how do you get, let's just take a normal FBI guy who's got a wife and family, he's got a, two-car garage. How do you get this guy to kick in the door of a 70-year-old grandmother, like pull her hair to the ground? If she resists, then pull her by the feet down the stairs, pull her out into the driveway where her neighbors can come out and gawk at her, helpfully tip off CNN so the cameras are there to humiliate her. How do you get a decent person to do something so manifestly evil? That's part of the ingenuity of the police state. They figured out a way to make good people do really bad things.